Why did they look at you like that? That's today's question. Hi, I'm Sunny, and I have 3 piles you guys can choose from left to right, pile 1, 2, 3. And if you need more time, you're more than welcome to pause the video. Otherwise, I will start with the first pile. So, pile number 1, you guys have the 7 of Cups upright. So, why did they look at you like that? Only you would know. But I can give you an idea. More or less, I think you or they or both of you were surprised at the fact that one person was like passing by, or you saw each other in a place where you normally might hang around or go to frequently, and suddenly you see them. Maybe because you live in the same city, or they're back to visit family or something, but it could be like that. Or you guys just, have similar schedules, or you guys are nearby, more or less around the lines where basically you did not expect each other at that time frame. So it was kind of something that you were taken by surprise, and vice versa from the opposite side. I do think overall that you keep wondering. I think this pile is kind of wondering still, like, and I think even the other side, I don't know why it is specifically, but you're not very well, like, maybe because it's not that you're out of your element, it's more so that you're not paying attention, and because you weren't paying attention, they caught you off guard. Therefore, you're kind of like in this limbo state of like deer in headlights, like, what do I do kind of thing. Yeah, overall, I just feel that you guys, maybe, like, example, if you have had previous arguments, because it is Cups, I do feel that there's surprises here and left, so minor expressions might be different for various people, but I do feel that maybe some people have argued before, and then you see each other and you're like, oh, I don't know what to say. Or if you maybe just had miscommunication, you saw each other and you're like, I don't know what to say. Or maybe if you feel that situations were unfair, I don't know why I feel like you guys just had some, it's like, it's positive in the sense where you saw each other and you're like, oh wow, I didn't know I could see this person again. I thought it was like a missed chance or missed opportunity, or maybe it was something that you didn't expect because of just location, that you guys see each other in the same place, but it's not something that you expected, nor did this person. And even if you did expect it, it still felt kind of awkward to look at each other, because the last time you guys might have seen each other, it didn't go favorably. There could have been awkward feelings of like, there were things left unsaid, or maybe you said too much and you guys took it out on each other, or just said harsh words or like cold words, and you retreated, or you just walked away, or it feels like you guys, I don't know why I keep going towards the more negative side rather than the positive side, but I feel like for the majority of you, that eye contact was just, it wasn't even like a warning, like back off. It was just, I'm puzzled and we need to have closure, or we need to adjust to be fair. Like, to be fair, I want to hear your side or something, but I'm too scared to like go up to you, or I'm just stunned, or I'm just speechless because I don't know. I don't know what to expect. There's so many possibilities that can be presented to myself in the situation, right? Like the 7 of Cups, but I don't know which one would be the route. Not necessarily the right route, but the route that would lead to comfort, or just okay, whether you guys went your separate ways, or whether you guys continue to talk. It's just one of those things where you want the air cleared out, but it's kind of difficult because there's so much that needs to be addressed. I'm sorry, I should have just scooted this in the middle, but you can see there's like smoke and air, so it could be like you had to put off airs, or it was just a blurry scenario where you guys saw each other at night or in fog, or it could be you guys were at a nighttime place that it was smoky, or just your vision was not as clear, but you clearly saw each other, or the situation is just blurry in a sense of like foggy or confusing, and that's why you're trying to make something clear out of these cups. It's like, is it there? Is it not? Am I mirroring this? Am I not? What am I gonna expect from this? Is it a treasure? Is it, I keep thinking of Chutes and Ladders. I don't know which, Chutes are good, right? No, it's Ladders and Chutes are bad. I forgot. I used to play that game, but I forgot. But basically, you don't know if it's like a good sign or a bad sign, and it could be vice versa too, where the other person thinks the same. So you're still trying your best to make sense of what it is. It's just a very weary vision, and it takes a lot from you to like keep it together. Maybe this person too, of not showing, like, being a puzzle face, of not showing your actual true feelings, of like Pikachu face. Just feels like you guys have Pikachu face, and you're like, I don't know what to say. Like, things didn't go well last time we spoke, and I don't know what to say because I'm not harboring such negative emotions anymore. But it feels like I'm still lingering with some of those comments or like scenarios where you felt like you would have liked it to end in better terms. So that's what I have for you. Next, pile number 2. You guys have the 2 of Pentacles upright. So why did they look at you like that? I keep saying what. With this pile, I think maybe they looked at you while they were busy working, or maybe they were handling several things at a time. Like maybe they were writing, they were answering phones, they were looking at a computer screen, they were paying attention to a teacher, paying attention to their boss, paying attention to the grocery. Why can I say that? Oh, the grocery store person who's like the cashier. Or maybe they were just doing some errands and they're making payments and you just caught them like by glance. Like it feels like this person was looking down and sideways and all up around, but they somehow managed to look at you guys, and you guys just kind of like looked at each other, not intensely, but at a long period of time. It feels like you guys made such long eye contact. So it's like, imagine yourself being on the phone. I don't know how many movie scenes I've seen with this, but someone's on the phone and then they go up to I think that it's the butcher or something, and they're looking at them and they're talking, and the butcher's like understanding them, or like thinking they're talking to them when they're like on the phone, but they're just like not like paying attention and stuff like that. It could be one of those scenarios too where not necessarily like that, but the way that they were doing an errand and they were looking at you, not intensely, but prolonged. And maybe at first they weren't focusing necessarily, or they might have taken some time to recognize you too, because maybe you guys look very differently. But it's definitely one of those things where they felt like they had to maybe relax their vision and stare off into space, and you just happened to be there, and then they kind of slowly recognize you, and they're like unsure of whether to communicate or just continue their errands, or like continue their workspace, like their work in their workspace. It just feels like they're doing too much at a time, and they're finding that balance. They're maneuvering themselves, right? But you know that they're kind of busy, so it makes it as a good excuse not to talk to each other, right? Too. You take what resonates. Or it could be you being the person that's busy and they see you and then they stare at you and you are staring at them. Sorry, my voice is terrible. They're staring at you for a prolonged period of time, and you guys just don't know what to say. Like, it's not that you guys are poker faces. I feel there's more direction in here compared to the previous pile, but I feel that this pile, for the most part, is kind of just busy. Like, even you could be busy, like both parties could be busy, or maybe because you're busy and you don't have time to process that until later on, and then that's when you're freaking out, or you're being anxious, or you're overthinking something, like, oh, I should have gone up to them, I should have said something. Maybe it's one of those things, not necessarily that you guys needed closure, but you could have had the opportunity to talk, but because you guys are busy, or you guys were doing your own stuff and you had a time frame limit, or you were not necessarily speeding, but just trying to make the best of your work time or your errand time, that you guys just didn't think it was appropriate to talk at that moment. And that's what that vision is. It's like, I wanted to like approach you and talk to you, but I can't. And a very earthy, I want to say vision, but like eye lock, I would say. I think you guys are just kind of maybe not necessarily judging each other from afar, but just kind of weighing down whether you guys should approach each other, or just kind of like nod at each other, like, hey, hi, how are you doing? Or like just acknowledge your presence with like a smile, like a half smile, but not even showing teeth, just kind of like widening your eyes, like Tyra Banks says. So it could be one of those things. Or you could just kind of like pretend you're doing something on your phone or something because you don't want to actually approach them. It could be these scenarios, very plausible, but I do think maybe you overthink this more than it should be. I think that's what the difference in first pile in here is that I feel that you guys are overthinking something much more practical and simple. That it was a good eye contact, but maybe like not eye contact like you guys are checking each other out, but it's more so maybe you could have been checking each other's bodies, but I feel it's more so you guys were just kind of acknowledging that presence there, but you can't really look at each other. And maybe it looked kind of funky because it's like, are they trying to start some ish with me? Are they trying to like be judgmental? Are they judging me like head to toe? But maybe they weren't necessarily focusing on you as a person, but more so just kind of spacing off into space, trying to relax your vision. Or if they were, it felt more like they were just looking at how different you look from the time that they last saw you, right? Not so much like, I'm gonna judge you because you look terrible. More so like, oh, you've changed, like, oh, you cut your hair, oh, you got a different type of style, oh, you have a child, or oh, you have this like going on. Like it's one of those things like, oh, maybe you got like work done. Like more like statements rather than like affirmations, rather than questioning like, why did they get that done? Like it's more so like, oh, I noticed this change, but not so much like I'm gonna hyper focus on this. I think maybe you're the one that's just hyper focusing. So thank you, pile number 2. So pile number 3, you guys have the 8 of Wands upright. So with you guys, why did they look at you like that? Because it was something that was in their vision of sight, right? I think that's what I'm trying to say. And it was pretty fast. I don't think you took a deep glance at each other. I think it was passing. You guys were passing each other, or it was just passing, like something quick. Like or maybe it's just something that maybe you guys both took a quick glance, but that's all you needed. You don't need to stare deeply into each other's eyes and get lost and stuff. Like it's not how you process information. Maybe you're just really quick at looking at stuff and you know what's there, and you can micro observe, right? You can micro observe the other person, the other party, and their gestures, their outfits, their physique, their movements, where they were headed at, what they were doing, like all these things, or who they were with. Like you could analyze so much with so little, right? And it could be this person as well. I feel that maybe sorry, I think that was my dogs. I think that overall this pile's just by speed. I think maybe, like, example, I for somehow feel that if you saw each other and you wondered why that they looked at you like that, it's because you might have walked really fast trying to avoid them. You tried to evade them because it was awkward. Like you just don't want them to remember you a certain way or what you did or the last things you said to each other. So you're like, oh God, no, I don't want to see them. Like I just don't want to. So you don't want them to notice you or something, but it's kind of hard not to notice people who walk really fast, like speed runners or something. It just felt like it was kind of obvious. And they could tell like maybe things like you outgrew the kind of circles you found yourself in, or you just feel like when you think about them, it's like a childhood memory that you just wish to like erase or just leave in the past. You're not trying to purposely like stir the pot of like, oh, I was like, it feels like you're someone that's much different, possibly even better looking. I feel with time, I feel that you've changed a lot. You put a lot of work into yourself, and they can see that, but you're like, I don't want them to notice me, or I don't want them to judge me harshly, or I don't want them to really hyper focus on me when I just don't want anything to do with them. Like they weren't good people, or like the things that they remember about you aren't necessarily like good, you know, like it's just like maybe they remember you in your lows and you're trying to not bring those up. Like sometimes it can happen that when you catch up with people accidentally by people that you see that you knew from not a previous lifetime but a previous time frame, especially childhood memories, you notice that they might notice certain things about you from the past and they bring it up and you're trying to avoid them. Like oh, are you still going out with this person? You're like, no, like you don't want to talk about that. Or like, oh, I remember you used to like copy my answers and stuff, and you're just like rolling your eyes, like that's what you remember, like the menial like things of like didn't really matter, like, or not even things that like you remember stuff like they were talking bad about you behind your back, or they were like ignoring you or something, and you're just like, yeah, I'm gonna return that favor, or I'm just gonna walk away from that because that's not like something I really want to focus on. It's like it's in the back of your mind, but you're just by being you being polite is you just running away from that, or just evading that, or just trying to go fast at it. Like if you knew they were gonna notice you, just go like speed run it, make sure that they don't catch you. It's like catch me if you can kind of thing. Or you're like, yeah, let's not talk. Like I have stuff to do. It feels like you're on a roll, but it feels like you have stuff to do, but it's not that important necessarily, but you could have paused for a bit and talked like for 5 minutes, but you choose not to. It just feels like you're like, I'm all right, thank you. So it doesn't matter whether any of these options were like male or female. It's just very much in a way where you think that it was fast and there wasn't much left to be said. Here, I just feel that you could also even be, if you don't feel like that's the case, that you could be someone that's more private or just much more shyer, or like not someone that wants to speak up about stuff. It's like, I'm all right. Like I'm not really like a talkative person. I just need to do stuff in and out, and I'm back home. Like I like being alone. It's not necessarily that you're a hermit. You just like to not be in like public spaces even at that. So maybe that's why they couldn't talk to you or approach you, but they stared at you because you're not someone that's seeing out and about that frequently, or like within their vicinity or stuff like that. So that's what I have for you guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you so much. And if you enjoyed this content, please like, subscribe, comment, and share. It helps me out growing my channel, and it's very much appreciated. Not mandatory, but appreciated. So thank you so much and have a great day. So bye everybody.